Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. What a good girl. All right. Here we go, Penny. Well, hello, all you high thinkers and folks that I hope are thinking in general. Said hi here again with my high thoughts, and Penny's still here with me, snuggling a little closer, and that's always nice. So today I was going to talk a little more about some of the things that I got out of this great book, The Story of Philosophy by Will Durant. And so Plato, uh, going back to the other video, was talking about having one God and how that could be very beneficial for society and ruling a people. So I'd like to, and I'm sure it's in this book and I've seen in other things, talk about how this concept related to the Roman Empire and the Catholic, what became the Catholic Church. So let me just read you this little bit about what Plato says right here, or what Will Durant interprets or talks about here. Um, Wrong page. Sorry. Uh, Much of the policies of Catholicism was derived from Plato's royal lies or influenced by them. The ideas of heaven, purgatory, and hell in their medieval form are traceable to the last book of the Republic. And it goes on and talks about other things in there. Uh, but so these concepts before Christ were all, I mean, a lot of the things in the Bible were in other civilizations and stuff too. We're not going to go into all of that in this video. But what I was going to say was, um, it was 400 years after Christ that I guess it was the Roman Caesar Constantine, was it? That was the first Christian uh, Caesar. So basically, what it seems like from my background, once again, this is just from my knowledge and from what I'm getting out of this, could be missing a lot or whatever, but it seems to me that this idea of Plato's about having one God and a ruler that is the right hand of God, shall we say, which became the Pope, was how the Roman Empire, it did, you could say it collapsed because it changed. To me, it uh, changed into the Catholic Church, basically, because the Pope ended up being the right hand of God, and they basically ruled all the people. I mean, it's the history of that is scary to me in a way that they really took this to heart, and uh, then we're getting into back to Ron Hubbard and okay, Penny, you want your belly rubbed. Um, Affinity, reality, and communication. So getting everybody on board with this reality uh, was not easy because it has all sorts of holes in it. I mean, these are people that are making up all these rules and they make mistakes. And so, God's not supposed to be making mistakes. So, just like with Scientology, you can't have people disagreeing or undermining uh, what they're selling, because once you do, you break that reality, your affinity goes down, communication goes down, and you basically will get into the disconnect policy later on. But with Catholicism and up through, and now this is important because there's lots of people in the American political system on the right these days that are calling for the church to be in control of the government. Well, there was a time when the church was in control of pretty much all of the modern world, and there is a name for it. It's called the Dark Ages. And it's called that because there was just incredible amounts of evil perpetrated by the Catholic Church. Okay, I can hear the hate mail and threats coming in already. This is just my observation, because think about this for a second. If you didn't go along with what they thought, they would torture you or kill you. They didn't, like the Gutenberg press, when the Bible was first translated, they did not want everyone to have access to that. They hunted that guy down and killed him. They suppressed all sorts of knowledge, anything that counteracted the Bible, say, the earth not being the center of the universe, things like that. But let's go even further into the Inquisition, where they were using like Iron Maiden. That's not just the name of a band. That band got the name from this torture device where they put you in this human-shaped box with big spikes in it all around, and all you could do is stand in the center of it until you collapsed into these. I mean, that's just one. I mean, and there's also the burning at the stake and the quartering, and I mean, you can look into that all you want on your own, but that was because they could not have anyone that disagreed or had any other ideas that counteracted their belief system and their control and their rule. So again, these videos, it's hard for me to tie all this together. So there's going to be other videos building on this. But you look at Scientology and the disconnect policy, and I relate it, it is nothing compared to what happened in the Dark Ages. But the thing is, if you are a Scientologist and you have any doubts or questions or point out the flaws in it, then they're going to tell you that you misunderstood and you need to get help on it, or you need to get more auditing. It's always your fault and not their fault. So if you see a problem in it, oh, it's not really a problem. You've just misperceived it or whatever. And if it goes too far, then you can't be a member anymore. You've got to get out because you are corrupting, poisoning, if you will, the minds of the other Scientologists, and they'll start to doubt. And you just can't have that in any religious belief because it's all based on getting you to believe that. That's the reality. And if you get any communication or you have any affinity for anything that's not part of that reality, you just can't stay there anymore. And before you just start bashing Scientology, they're not the only ones that do this. I mean, it's all religions, maybe in a different way, not as extreme as what the Dark Ages were, maybe not as extreme as Scientology, and of course their fair game policy, we're not going to get into all that. But basically, most religions, if you don't toe the line and think exactly the way they do, then you're going to be outcast. And I understand that because that makes sense. You don't want to hang out with people that think entirely differently from you. What would be nice, though, say in politics or religion, is for people with differing opinions or trying to understand it can have legitimate conversations about it. But I also think it has to be discussed how, I forget what the phrase was, basically the religion is based upon your ideology and what you want to make it to be.